It's that time of year again. It's the 36th Antrim International Cross-Country, and once again it features the European Ladies Cross-Country Champion, Fionnuala Britton.
It's all about Fionnuala Britton today. European Cross-Country Champion, European Athlete of the Month, European Athlete of the Moment, and a winner for the third time in 6 weeks, this time on home soil in Antrim. Gemma Steele in second place. Wonderful respect between the two. That was a great performance.
Greenmount is a picturesque but testing course that takes in the surrounds of Northern Ireland's top agricultural college, the Darren Clark Golf School, and some of Antrim's forests. We're a stone's throw away from Belfast International Airport and the world-famous picturesque Lough Neagh. Before the senior races, hundreds of younger competitors hit the fields for underage events, including a number of IAAF races involving top up-and-coming names from Britain and Ireland. But the main event is on the way. The commentators are Dick Hooper and Will Downing.
Fionnuala Britton now has 3 European cross-country gold medals to her name. Linda Byrne won in the team category, and they face 2 very strong Kenyan athletes in Antrim today. Magdalene Masai is the youngest sister of Lynette Masai, who's beaten Fionnuala Britton in the past. Eunice Callis has been second placer in the Berlin half marathon. Britton and Byrne leading the Irish contingent. Gladys Gagniel that of Northern Ireland. And a great reception for Fionnuala Britton from her fellow competitors for the double European cross-country champion ahead of the race. The Kenyan contingent as far away from the Irish as possible, but how will they be on the final leaderboard at the end of today? Well, Fionnuala Britton has already successfully this winter defended her European and Edinburgh titles, and now she's looking for a hat-trick of successful defences in Antrim, Dick Cooper.
Yeah, Fionnuala's in the absolute form of her life. She can do nothing wrong at the moment. And also in there, Linda Byrne, who is also in the form of her life. Interestingly, an awful lot of marathon runners in the field. Linda, of course, had turned to the marathon last year. And then from England, we've got Louise, Damen, Freya Murray from Scotland. Gladys Gagniel, the top Northern Ireland girl, is also a marathoner. So interesting that they can step down and run so well over the country.
A powerful start already from Fionnuala Britton. She went on the B of the bang of the gun, and she is out of here already. That's a strong lead of something like 20 or 30 metres. Linda Byrne just behind in second place, and into the forest. The first to emerge behind Britton is Eunice Callis. She's a personal best in the half marathon of just under 70 minutes. Magdalene Masai is the other Kenyan in the field. Linda Byrne currently in third place. And just moving up wearing 769 is Louise Damen, who finished second in this race 2 years ago. Jess Coulson, who's finished ahead of Fionnuala Britton on the cross-country circuit this year, the European Under-23 champion, pulled out of this race through injury last night. Magdalene Masai is a good bit back already, and also passing through 8.74. Stevie Stockton, who's been drafted in.
I suppose it's a true test of the rest of the field, with Fionnuala being in such good form and running with such confidence. Effectively, the others are just wondering, well, if she has an off day, maybe we can get close. How close can we get to her? And really, Fionnuala is just dictating the entire race right from the gun, as only a true cross-country runner of her calibre can do.
Now, if you're familiar with this course, you'll notice a change. This is the adjacent field which they ran around in previous years, but they're just skirting past. And the loop this year is right outside Greenmount College itself. And the first one passing in the first of the 3 laps, looking so confident. Such a wonderful style Fionnuala Britton has.
Oh, absolutely. There's 2 ways of looking at this race. The race looks as if it's over for first place already. So what you do now is you sit back and admire the excellence of this magnificent runner from Schleekhulen in Wicklow, double European champion, running as well as she's ever run in her life, and such is her confidence that she can just glance around and run away from this field. She's not checking behind her, she's in total control, and the rest of the field really are running for second place, it looks like.
And moving up towards second place right now, Magdalene Masai emerging quite a bit behind Fionnuala Britton, who was the winning European team captain in Edinburgh a week ago, as she successfully defended that title in the Scottish capital. Eunice Callis in second place, and just behind her is Louise Damen, who finished second here 2 years ago behind Charlotte Purdue. But there is one very comfortable athlete who is way ahead of the rest right now, and she is truly in the form of her life.
I think the thinking behind Fionnuala running so hard from the gun now and running away from these Africans is to test herself, because really what Fionnuala is trying to do now is she knows she's probably the best in the Western world cross-country runner at the moment, and it's the Africans all the time.
Oh, look at that fall, and Eunice Callis struggling badly in second place, falling to third, and now it looks like that Magdalene Massai and Linda Byrne are going to catch up with her on the way up that hill. That is not what you wanted in the very first lap.
In fairness to Eunice, she reacted very well and got up quickly. She'll forget that and work her way back to the field. It's a bit of a toss, but it's not life-threatening.
Well, Fionnuala Britton, this will be her last cross-country race for a couple of months. She's aiming for the World Championships in Bydgoszcz in 2.5 months' time, but now aiming for the indoor circuit and the European indoors in Gothenburg at the start of March. And now in second place, after the hiccup by Eunice Callis, she's left Magdalene Massai and Linda Byrne behind. In second on her own now is Louise Damen, and in third place now is Linda Byrne, Fionnuala Britton's European gold medal winning colleague from Budapest just before Christmas, and she is looking as comfortable here as she did in Slovenia when she won her first European title at the end of 2011, which was very much virtuoso stuff.
Yeah, she's running tremendously. She has a huge gap on the field now, and if you compare it with her run in Edinburgh last week, I think she's running even better, because the gap she has on using Linda Byrne as a barometer, the gap she has on Linda this week is at least double what she had last week.
Linda Byrne in third place, and it's interesting to see Magdalene Massai, the Kenyan who won the Amorebieta cross country in Spain last week, has moved up into fourth place. But right now it is all about number one being Fionnuala Britton. In second place, perhaps not as fluent a style as Britton from Louise Damen, but comfortably in second, and third and fourth at the moment between Linda Byrne and Magdalene Massai, whose sister Lynette Massai very well medalled, and like her older sister is part of Ricky Sims' pace management, and there's a lot of great pace management coming from Fionnuala Britton right now. She's in the forest again.
I think she'll appreciate these days when she's just flowing along and everything is coming easy to her. If anything, she may have taken her foot off the gas a little bit. She doesn't look like she's pushing it too hard. And Louise Damen in second place, who has broken clear of the other girls, is actually probably closing a slight bit. But other than Louise, there's absolutely no threat to Fionnuala. And the only thing about cross country, as we saw in Edinburgh last week, you can fall, and that can give the opposition hope. Here's Linda now battling for third place. Linda is a very fine cross-country runner in her own right, and she's shown that again this year, because she used to run very well over European junior and under 23 events, former schools champion and all that. Very fine runner, and what a great run she had in the Euros when she finished in 8th place. A key player in that team gold.
Fionnuala Britton was in winning gold again in Budapest, perhaps the ultimate player in that, but she'd a great team with Ava Hutchinson and a couple of Sarahs as well, and Linda Byrne there, Lizzie Lee also, who ran in this last year but not this, and Fionnuala Britton coming round the loop for the final time, and the crowds were out in force to support her here in Antrim last year, and in Slovenia 13 months ago, Budapest just a few weeks before Christmas. She loves number one alongside her name at the end, and in the final stretch, it's a new finish in Antrim this year. Fionnuala Britton, you might well have expected, would be the first home, and she will be. 2 in a row in the European Championships, 2 in a row in Edinburgh, and for Fionnuala Britton in Antrim yet again, 2 in a row. Right now there is no cross-country runner in Europe as good as Fionnuala Britton. She is beating all and sundry. Louise Damen is well back in second place, and it'll be a good battle for third and fourth between Magdalene Massai and Linda Byrne, but Fionnuala Britton made it all about number one today.
Oh, Fionnuala was magnificent, a gun-to-tape victory, total control. Easy, I would imagine, for her today. Not a bother on her there as she congratulates Louise.
And Massai will take third place in the end for Kenya. Well, she was playing second fiddle for a long time in terms of the Kenyans to Eunice Callis until the former's fall. Massai in third, Linda Byrne in fourth place. Callis will come through now in 5th place, having looked really strong early on. 6th place going to Freya Murray-Ross, 7th Steph Twell, and 8th Bet Potter. But there's only one, Fionnuala Britton, and she's as popular as it gets. So Fionnuala Britton wins again, a 12-second winning margin over Louise Damen, with Magdalene Massai 3rd, Linda Byrne 4th, and Eunice Callis in 5th place.
Fionnuala, many congratulations on winning a back-to-back championship here in Antrim.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to come back and win again after last year, and I think it was, of course, a little bit easier this year, but it was still, it's never that easy, and when you've got so much support you feel like you owe it to people to put on a good performance. So.
What was your pre-race plan for this particular race?
Yeah, the plan was to go out hard and then see if I could push it on from there. So it's not like an easy way to run, but you have to do different things sometimes. So yeah, I'm going to do a few indoor races now. So I haven't done another cross-country race for a while now. So this is kind of the last one.
And another unusual thing today, when you came to the start line today, the fellow athletes applauded you. Did you like that?
Yeah, it is nice, and I suppose that's what it's nice running at home when you know everybody. But I suppose in another way it puts on a bit of pressure because you feel like more is expected of you then, I suppose. So. And
again, a huge crowd to watch you race today.
Yeah, it's great, and I really like it here because there's so many kids, and it's nice to be able to maybe inspire them to stick with running. And it can be a lonely sport, but when you can see people succeed, it's more likely that you would stick with it, and I'd like to hope that people would.
And finally, you're going for the hat-trick next year?
I'm glad that next year is a long way away at this point, because I can imagine what it might be like next year, but yeah, hopefully.
The field was very, very good. I mean, I came second here a couple of years ago, and the field wasn't as good as it was today, so now I'm pleasantly surprised actually. Yeah, it was a good, strong run.
Fionnuala went off strong at the start. How close did you think you could get to her?
Well, as soon as the gun went, she just went, and I thought, oh my gosh, like, you know, there's kind of, she's gone, there's, you know, but I think gradually I actually managed to reel her in a little bit during the race. But she's in fantastic shape, so she's a really good kind of a benchmark really to see how close we can get. So
it's gratifying, you know. I won the year before, and last year I had run a marathon, so I wasn't able to do it. But it's great for the team because my women's team won as well again today, and we ran today with 4 different runners and won the team title last year. So it really shows the depth in my club, and I'm really proud of that.
So glory yet again for Fionnuala Britton. It's going to be a very, very full sideboard for her by year's end. Men's race is on the way. So the men's race in Antrim, Mike Keegan doing 3 in a row is not in the field today, but there are 5 very strong African runners who enjoyed great success in the past, including the World Junior Cross-Country runner-up from 2 years ago, Thomas Ayeko from Uganda, World Junior Champion at 5,000 metres, David Bett, and the World Youth Championship silver medalist from 2009, Joseph Birech. So the Africans are very much, Dick, the men to beat here.
The Africans are the men to beat, and there's some very good British runners in there as well. But we shouldn't forget that there's a Northern Ireland Championship in here. Joe McAllister is the defending champion. Eddie McGinley won the IAAF Cross-Country Championship last February, and Stephen Scullion is probably the form man in the race. So between the 3 of them, and we also have our Paralympic champion Michael McKillop. So what a great day for Michael to be in there mixing it with them, and for the people of Northern Ireland to see their Olympic champion in action.
Well, Michael McKillop contributed to a tremendous Irish summer, but will it be a great African, maybe a great Kenyan afternoon here? Leading the way, Scott Bowes from the United States early on. Now Thomas Ayeko, 20 years old, a Ugandan who qualified for the Olympic final, the one which Mo Farah won, the 10,000 metres in London. He finished 16th in that. He's in the blue singlet wearing 7. In the red wearing number 2, David Kipratoch Bett, also 20, the World Junior Champion in Moncton in 2010 in the men's 5,000 metres, and who's run 13:06 at the Weltklasse in Zurich. So he's a fast man among what should be a very fast field. You can actually see Michael McKillop just there on the left of screen. But leading the way, it is Ayeko and it's Bett, and also moving the way up, Andy Vernon and Frank Tickner too.
Yeah, I was just going to remark on the 2 English boys, Andy Vernon number 22, Frank Tickner number 23. Andy is a big, rugged, strong cross-country man. You can see him there. He's a former European under-23 champion, and he was on the British team, isn't it, in the Euros. Got second in the Europeans there in Budapest, and he had a lot of injury problems there last summer, which probably stopped him getting the 10,000 metre qualifier for London. But he's coming back very strong, and he finished in the teens there in Budapest, so he's getting better every week. He was good in Edinburgh last week. Frank Tickner is a former inter-counties cross-country champion in the UK and a former national champion, in fact, and also a regular contributor to British cross-country team.
And Michael McKillop wearing 219 passes through. But straight away, Thomas Ayeko and David Bett. Ayeko in the blue for Uganda. David Bett in the red for Kenya, looking comfortable at the front. Andy Vernon, who finished second in Liverpool the previous round of the UK Cross Challenge, is keeping up with them quite well. And just behind, wearing 18, Scott Bowles of the United States, and Frank Tickner wearing 23, who finished 6th in Liverpool a few weeks ago and was 5th here last year, is in the top 5 again here.
These two guys, Ayeko and Bett, have good pedigree. Ayeko was in the Olympic 10,000 metre final. He finished 16th, 27.58. David Bett is a former world 5,000 metre junior champion and has the quite impressive PB of 13.05, which a lot of fellas would be happy with.
David Kiprotich Bett, to give him his full name. Such a fast runner, even at the age of 17. Ayeko and Bett are the two front runners straight away. Ayeko with the slight lead, the Ugandan. He is also in the same pace management team as the likes of Usain Bolt and Mo Farah. Passing through now, Frank Tickner, looking good in 4th place, just behind his fellow British runner Andy Vernon. Tickner, the current McCain Cross Challenge champion in the UK. But right now it looks like Ayeko and Bett are dividing the first 2 places between them. And will this be the same when they cross the finish line?
It's classic cross-country really, because on the faster pieces of ground you can see that the two Africans run away from Andy Byrne, and then when it gets to the heavy going over on the hill and in the muck, Andy seems to pull them back a little bit. But the guys get so much ground ahead in the flatter parts that it's hard to see Andy getting back in touch.
Well, they are doing their best. Vernon holding up 3rd place in his own, Tickner 4th, but these two are far and away ahead of the rest, and both 20 years old, really have got so much in front of them. Vernon in 3rd place, Tickner 4th, fighting hard to try and get the yards back. Then we've got Scott Bowles just behind him, Matthew Bowser of North of England. Also there, Stephen Scullion, who's the leading Northern Ireland runner at the moment, in 7th place.
Yeah, Stephen has a gap now on Eddie McGinley of about 20 seconds, so he looks like he's on his way to the Northern Ireland title. He runs for North Belfast Harriers. He lives and works in England at present.
And lots of lapped runners now who are going at a good pace, but Ayeko is eating up the course very well, and Bett stumbling and struggling, and Ayeko up the hill very, very strongly. Bett beginning to slip and slide, and he's losing a lot of ground, a lot of time, and Ayeko has got a lot of room on Bett here, and we're about to see how much.
There didn't look to be a lot of aggression in Bett on that mucky section. In fact, he looked like a man who was sort of feeling sorry for himself, and when that sets into your mind, the leader can get quite a gap away. So that's what's happening. Thomas Ayeko now is opening a bit of a gap.
Well, that was 10 seconds on the adjacent field section of the course, and Ayeko in the main straight of this Greenmount circuit. Bett is trying to get the yards back. You can see he's put down the hammer a bit and adding with the velocity. Andy Vernon comfortably in 3rd place at the moment from Aldershot, Farnham and District. 4 under-23 European medals he's won, including 2 team golds. But right now, Ayeko is the man you would really bet on to win gold here in Antrim this afternoon.
Yeah, he looks like he's could stretch that lead now to about 30 seconds. He looks very comfortable. He's the man. Now, of course, these mucky sections, as soon as you say it, a problem emerges. But I'd be more confident with the way he goes up that hill than David Bett. And when you're looking behind there and checking 2nd place, I think David has given up on 1st place. Let's see how he tackles this hill if the camera is still on him.
Well, it's interesting to see him do that, to be honest with you, because really he should be looking forward and thinking about 1st here, but he's worrying about holding on to the silver medal position. But he's gone the long way around, and actually he's going through the trees to avoid a stumble.
He's learned his lesson from the last lap.
Thomas Ayeko looking very comfortable. The only Ugandan in the field is well ahead of David Bett at this stage, around 20 seconds or so. Bett working very hard, but Thomas Ieko looks to have done all of the hard work now. And the Ugandan, who great things are expected of. He is the current Ugandan cross-country champion. He won the Gothenburg Grand Prix, the 5,000 metres last year, and he's on the way to great things. He's doffing the cap already with 500 metres to go. He knows he's won this one.
Yeah, Ugandan athletics is on a high now, because don't forget they had a man who won the Olympic marathon in London, so I'm sure Kiprotich there has raised the mood of the nation. So here's our winner.
Thomas Ieko well in focus, the man who finished second in the World Junior Cross-Country Championships 2 years ago in Punta Umbria, wins in Antrim 2013. Thomas Ieko for Uganda is the champion in Antrim this time around, and David Kiprotich Bett really couldn't live with him in the end. It was the stumble going up the hill in the forest on the far side of the course that did for him. Bett will be in second place, so it's Uganda 1, Kenya 2. It'll be Britain 3 and 4.
We're looking now, there's Andy Vernon coming in, and he'll be followed shortly by Frank Tickner, and then we'll be looking for the first Northern Ireland man to see who wins the Northern Ireland Championship. There's Frank Tickner on his way around the final bend, and I suspect he's been followed by a Northern Ireland man, judging by the shouts of the crowd. But Frank has a little gap on the next man, so it's all eyes to see who's next around the bend.
And that man is Stephen Scullion, currently unattached, and it looks as if he will succeed Joe McAllister as the Northern Ireland champion.
He's pretty pleased with that. He's got a good gap. Eddie McGinley is going to be the second Northern Ireland man home. Eddie's about 30 seconds behind Stephen, and Joe McAllister, the defending champion, will finish third.
So Thomas Ieko wins over half a minute clear of David Bett of Kenya, with Andy Vernon third, Frank Tickner fourth for Britain, and Stephen Scullion, the top Northern Ireland runner, home in fifth place. So a good victory for Thomas Ieko. Get used to seeing him at the top of the podium.
Thomas, many congratulations. What was it like out? It was a tough fight with David.
Yeah, I see the weather is very cold, and I try my best to win the race. But I sound got the worst I am. It gives me strength to win the race.
I tried to, yeah, they were strong. I went with them for the first lap, and they just 2 laps actually. I was with them, and then they started to ease away on the third lap, and I kind of found myself in a bit no man's land for the rest of the race, really.
Is that difficult mentally?
No, if anything, it's kind of, I quite like it, because as long as you're not slowing down and people aren't catching you from behind, you almost feel like you're just running. It's like a training session. You're not, when you're actually in a race, sometimes that can be mentally tough, like staying with people, but I don't mind running on my own so much. I do a lot of it in training, so.
It was good. I've done it previous years and it's been a lot muddier, so I think because it's been a bit cold recently, it suited me better, and I worked my way through slowly, and I actually find it quite good and quite relaxing. I finished quite strong, and I feel maybe if there had been another couple of guys between 5th and 4th, I could have worked on them, but it was very good.
So halfway through the race, how did you see yourself doing?
I don't know, you always have this worry. I wanted to go off slow, but you've got this thing in the back of your mind sort of saying, no, if you don't get out there, you won't get up. But I judged it really well, and by the time I sort of got warmed up and stuff, I actually felt really good halfway, and that's when I started pushing on a bit and getting a bit of a gap on the guys behind.
Yeah, not many Paralympians get out and race cross country, and I guess whenever it comes to the track, you can see the strength in London, and it's down to these really hard, muddy races that pushes me on.
Also on the programme, a series of prestigious underage races, with Rebecca Straw of England winning the IAAF Junior Women's title ahead of her compatriot Elizabeth Byrne, with Alice Bergen of South of England in third place. Victory for Sarah Fitzpatrick of Dundrum South Dublin in the girls under 17 ahead of Aisling Quinn of Ferrybank and Isabel Odlum of DSD. The IAAF Junior Men's title going to England's James McMurray ahead of his teammate William Paulson, with Aaron Hanlon of Clonliffe Harriers third. The boys under 17 crown going to Scotland. Ryan Thompson of Ronhill Cambooslang Harriers ahead of Callum Matthews of Kilbarkin and Aidan Thompson in third.
And that's it from the Antrim International Cross-Country, where Fionnuala Britton has triumphed yet again, and maybe a new name from Africa. Goodbye.